Bonjour, Kinamagi in Ireland edition of CAS, and welcome to this production of the My Math Network. Today's episode, Chapter 8, Lesson 5, Least Common Multiple. Chapter 8, Lesson 5 will begin on page 577. If you have a paper packet available, you should have that near you. If not, you should pause the video before it gets started and have either the packet or a piece of paper and something to write with available for your use. Let's begin by looking at the homework for tonight so you have an idea where we're going. We're going to find the least common multiple of a set of numbers, and we're going to use it to solve some story problems. Vocabulary check questions will be answered using the vocabulary words found on 577. The essential question in Chapter 8, Lesson 5, how are factors and multiples helpful in solving problems? It's a good thing that we're attacking multiples today. The beginning of this lesson is going to not be in your book, so you don't have to look for it. And the least common multiple represents the smallest common number in a set of multiples. It'll also be useful to us when we are working with fractions. Let's find the least common multiple of a set of numbers. So first off, with 4 and 6, let's grab our annotation tool. And we're going to do a couple of these, but not all. 4, my multiples are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and my 6, 12. Ooh, I see a combination. Even though if I went all the way out to 4 times 6 and get to 24, I look up and I see that I have 12 and 12 together. So my least common multiple is 12. And you would do it the same way, and it can get challenging. You can end up with a lot of numbers. So let's look at 4, 5, and 12. So 4 is 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. Let's make it a lot longer. 44, 48, 52, 56, and 60. Sorry, 56 and 60. It's a lot of numbers. So let's look at the 5s. 5s are a little bit easier. They always end in a 5 or a 10. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Oh, I'm starting to see one. I've got a few in this set. I've got a 20. And I have a 60. Let's go with 12. And this is where it gets more challenging. 12 is going to be 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. My least common multiple is a big number. 60, 60, and 60. It's the smallest number that is in each list. That is how we find the least common multiple. I'm going to clear all the drawings here. You see our answers getting big quick. Below are Sam's household chores and the frequency in which they are completed. Use the table to answer the following questions. The chore: vacuum the bedroom every 4 days, clean the fish tank every 20, do laundry every 6. On which day will Sam vacuum his bedroom and do laundry? So if we start out at, we need something at 4 and 6. So it would be the 12th day, 4, 8, 12, 6, 12. Bedroom and fish tank will be the 20th day because 4 will go into 20. Some excited puppies behind me that are excited about least common multiples. I got to tell you, they were at the door. They're like, which translates to Mr. I, can we learn about least common multiples? Let's get into our textbooks here. It's going to be the Math in My World example basic. There are some words at the top in highlighted yellow. A multiple is a number, is a product of the number and any other whole number. So the multiples of 4, 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. We quite often use the skill of skip counting, but that's really what we're doing, is multiplying by the series of numbers. The common multiples, there are multiples that are shared by more than one number. Like with 4 and 6, we saw there was 4, 12, 24. They were all common multiples. And the smallest one, in that case of 4 and 6, which is 12, is the least common multiple. As we do this, I do expect you to fill this in. This will give you an artifact in which to look back on as we do the assignment. So it starts out with Tom hits golf balls at the driving range every 3 days, practices putting every 4 days, and goes golfing every 6 days. If he did all 3 activities today, in how many days will he do all 3 activities again? So let's get our multiples here. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Let's go 18 on that one. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Times 3 is 18. Times 4 is 24. And I already start to see the common multiples. It's not 3, 4, and 6. There is a 6 in both of these, but not in this. But there is a 12 in each one of the 3 columns. So he'll complete these activities again in 12 days. Go ahead and fill that in. I'll give you a moment to do that. In a moment, I'm going to say that I'm going to clear the screen. Anytime I say that, that tells you have just a few seconds. You are welcome to pause the video to finish writing down anything you need to, and then unpause the video when you're ready to go on. Quite frequently, we try to pick a pace that won't leave you bored waiting for me to speak again. So it's only natural that sometimes you'll need to slow me down. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. And you can see that they did what we did there. I could check it by creating a number line. This, in all honesty, is going to be more work. I only require you to do it if it tells you to. But on day 0, golf, putted, driving range. You can see the driving range every 3, the putting every 4, the golf every 6, and this was the next day that they were all there. You can see those vocabulary words that I mentioned at the top of 577. Right there. Your least common multiple cannot be 0. you can use prime factorization. So let's turn to the top of page 578 in your text. Continue to fill this in as we go. 15 is 3 times 5. 40 is 4 times 10. And 4 is 2 times 2. And 10 is going to be 2 times 5. All right, so make sure you write that in before we go to the next step. 3 and 5 and 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clear that drawing. Let's see what we have there. Now find the common prime factors. And you can see that the only common prime factor was 5. So 5 is going to be in both. So he's got 3 times 5 and 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Find the product of the prime factors using each common prime factor only once and any remaining factors. So you can see my 2, my 2, my 2, my 3, and then the 5 one time, which is 120. I advise that this not be your standard. It's a way to do it, but it's probably not your quickest way. All right, so let's do one together. Least common multiple, that's a lesson ahead of us, of 6 and 10. Some of you might already be able to kind of guesstimate at this. Because 6 times 1 is 6, times 2 is 12, times 3 is 18, times 4 is 24, times 5 is 30. And I happen to already be able to look over and say, I know that it's going to go 10 times 1, 10 times 2 is 20, 10 times 3 is 30. So my least common multiple is 30. So go ahead and write that in. A few more seconds there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. You see that we did that one right. I want you guys to go ahead and try number 2. Find your least common multiple. Find your multiples of 3. Give me at least 4 of them. So 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, and 3 times 4. So our 3 times 1 is, our 3 times 2 is, our 3 times 3 is, and our 3 times 4 is. Now, let's do the same thing before. It's 4 times 1 is, 4 times 2 is, 4 times 3 is, 4 times 4 is. What's our smallest number? You can see there's a 12 and a 12. That is the smallest or least common multiple. It's 12. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. Could the lowest common multiple of 2 numbers be one of the numbers? Absolutely. Let's think first. Well, if one number is double the other right off the top of my head, let's look at football. Go by 7 and 14. The multiples of 14 are 14 times 1 is 14. 14 times 2 is 28. It's 7. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. Ooh. 7 goes into 14. So therefore, 14 is the least common multiple of 7 and 14. All right, let's get you guys some practice. I would like you to find the least common multiple of these three numbers. To do such, you're going to, when I tell you to, pause the video, find your answers, and then unpause the video when you're ready. You may pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. 2 and 13, 26. Is 13 times 1 is 13. 13 times 2 is 26, and 2 goes into 26. 7 and 9, that's a tougher one. It went all the way to 63. Notice that 7 times 9 is 63, and 2 times 13 is 26. Those are both examples where by multiplying them together, they ended up also being the least common multiple. 2 and 10, 2 goes into 10 5 times, so 10 is the least common multiple. Let's do these three together. So go ahead and pause your video, and I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. Let's see how we did. 12 and 15, both go into 60. 16 and 20, both go into 80. 3 and 8, both go into 24. So we have those as your least common multiple. At this point, I'm going to send you off into the homework. On these three, find your least common multiple, and then make sure you read the story problems carefully to make sure you know what they're asking, know what information you have. You make a plan, you solve, and you check. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at mireland@psychchipschool.net. Have a minute, Gizigad. Minwa, Mama P.